In 1000 hours of playing Project Zomboid, I have never been in Louisville. So I set zombie population to normal with 1 year peak on insane. And I will try to live here for a year, and then escape through a military checkpoint. So far I managed to almost die, secured my base, and I was preparing myself for some serious action. This is 1 year in Louisville, day 61 to 140. After waking up on day 61, I remembered there was a black van parked behind the house where I spent my very first night in Louisville. It was in so much better condition than my old car. Okay, except for the brakes. But who needs them when the world is ending anyway? With my new ride secured, I went back to the houses by the river and spent the rest of the day fishing. Next day, more of the same, but I've got it to level 5. I've also tried to free someone locked inside the boathouse. I think they were going for a hug, but I might misread their body language. On day 63, I finally decided to level up my electrical skill to level 3 by dismantling everything I could find in the office buildings on the other side of the road. It only took me 2 months, but I finally have an oven in my base. With that done, it was time to start preparing for next phase. I knew I would be spending a lot of time in the houses by the river, and I was absolutely tired of driving back and forth between 2 locations, so I'll be turning this place into a small base that I will be using for fishing and incoming training. But first I had to secure this place with... Okay, my French viewers, you can blame this comment for encouraging me. Cheval de frise. 2 days went by without any interruptions, until the following day I had to stop on my way to outpost to deal with a group of zombies that was getting a bit too close to my base. And with that, I was able to finish first part of this project. I have noticed that even with decent amount of sleep each night, my character was getting tired a bit too fast. After a quick search online, I realized what was the issue. I didn't have a pillow. And now I do. About 24 days ago, I put down crate traps on the golf course to catch some rabbits. Guess who just remembered about them? Yeah, this guy. Dying of thirst and starving, but they were still alive. After making sure they had water and food, I left them alone so they can do their business. With some time left in the day, I brought the generator to my second base and started working on a fishing pier. And with a day of hard work behind me, it was time to spend my first night in second home. Most of day 68 was dedicated to cutting down the trees and sawing wooden planks. By late evening I made a good progress with construction and decided to pay a visit to a nearby gas station. I will need to store all the fresh food when I will be grinding fitness and strength, so I grabbed the popsicle freezer. After that I was going back to my base and I finally moved the car I crashed like a month ago out of the way. Loaded my van with crates and items I will be needing later and called it a night. Day 69 got off to a bit of a mystery start. First half of my footage went missing. Thankfully, nothing interesting happened. Late afternoon I started working on a small room on the side of the house so I could have access to the fresh water. But my axe broke, and of course, why would I bring extra with me if I can just drive back and forth, like an idiot, again. Now, with everything I need and utility room completed, it was time to connect sink with water collector. Oh no. Now, with everything I need and utility room completed, it was time to connect sink with water collector. By end of day 71, I had finished building a pier and it was time to start making some serious preparations for upcoming grind. Plan was to spend next few days just doing fishing. It was going great at first, even got it to level 6. Unfortunately, day 73 brought heavy rain and wind, and standing in one place in this weather was definitely not a good idea. Which means quick trip back to my base where I had the firefighter jacket and pants. After dressing up, I come to the conclusion that they should provide good enough protection against the elements and I could just ignore them from now on. After another day of terrible weather, instead of fish, I've got myself a nasty cold. Turns out, I cannot ignore rain and freezing wind. Well, lesson learned. Coughing and sneezing, I've undressed myself from all the wet clothes and threw them into a dryer. Stuffed myself with food and went to sleep. Okay, here we are, day 75. Goal was simple, fitness from level 5 to 6 and strength to level 8, so one in each. Here we go! Day 84, first level in fitness. And finally, level in strength. You know what, let's add one more in fitness. How long could it take? It took 51 days to gain 2 levels in fitness and 1 in strength. Never again. After returning to my base and confirming that most of my crops have died, as expected, I went to see what my chickens were doing, and I was met with few yellow fluffy balls walking around. And it looked like rabbits were busy when I was away. Long story short, meat will be back on the menu very soon. Now, feeling almighty and powerful, as my first goal I set my eyes on the fire station and gun store nearby. It was time to test drive my newly acquired powers and see how my brain bashing abilities have improved. Oh yeah, that's a big improvement. I can fight for longer and kill zombies with one hit more often than before. But hey, that's exactly what I expected. Anyway, inside I found some rifles, shotguns, bulletproof vests, and loads of different kinds of ammo. At this point I got a bit annoyed about not being able to attach flashlight to my belt when using two-handed weapon or tools. So I fixed that with mod. I have a feeling, if you can think of it, there's probably mod for it. Oh boy, I love this community. After loading up my van, there was still ammo left in the storage room, but it was getting late, so I decided to come back here tomorrow. But first, a little celebration of me not dying on my first day after spending nearly 2 months training. Yeah. Day 127. On my way to a gun store, I spotted a trailer. Quickly dealt with few zombies, moved old car out of the way, and attached it to my van. After arriving and taking rest of the ammo I left there yesterday, I had another smart idea. Since I wanted to start using guns, I will need aiming and reloading skill books. And what would be a better place to find them than a police station? To my convenience, there was one just around the corner. But first, there was still loads of zombies to deal with before I even come close to it. And that took rest of the evening. After returning next day, I still had a lot of zombies to kill. By 3 PM I made it into the police truck parked outside. I turned on the siren to pull all the zombies out of the building and into the streets. With that done, I was waiting for them to come outside. A quick note, normally zombies inside of the buildings are inactive until you're very close or have a line of sight. But of course, there's a way to fix it. There are 2 mods that work together here. First one spawns zombies inside the buildings when you enter the cell. Second, prevent the game from removing zombies when there is too many of them, but it can lead into funny situations. You know what, I will play a clip from server we hosted with my friends back in the build 41. Quality isn't the best because it's a recording of a recording, but yeah, you have an idea. Just be aware, this can have a very big impact on performance. Not gonna lie, despite having 3 FPS, we all had fun. Okay, back to what I was doing. After seeing what came out of the police station, I re-evaluated my life decisions and decided I will come here at later date. Okay, change of plans for now, but search for books continue. Next target, AA Ron Hunting Supplies, southeast of Central Park. Since it was almost outside of a town, there wasn't that many zombies, so after quickly dealing with them I went inside. And same as the last gun store. Same ammunition, same set of weapons, but I found reloading book 1. For reasons unknown, I left my trailer at the base, so I loaded everything I could fit into my van. After arriving back, I knocked down that book right away. Next day I went back and looted all the ammo and weapons that I missed the day before, and since I was already there, I took interest in Milk and More. Turns out they had nice food supply in there. Gas station next door was just a bonus. After unloading everything, I still had some time left, so I decided to scout the gun store next to Grand Ohio Mall. It looked like quite a dense area, so I'll be back tomorrow. So, after coming back next day with a tactical shotgun, I was so confident I can clear it that I just parked in the middle of the street and started blasting. However, after a while I realized, if I stay here, I'm going to die. So instead I lured zombies away, got into my van and drove off pretending that it never happened. Instead I went to police station south of Central Park. This one wasn't so bad, so after dealing with all the zombies, I looted all the ammo and rifles. Unfortunately there wasn't anything interesting, so yeah, moving on. Okay, here's what happened. I was killing zombies where I set the police siren off before. It was my second day here, and this was the last thing I've seen before my electricity went off. As soon as power came back on, I loaded my save, and I think it got corrupted. How do I know? Well, the date has changed, power was back on. Thankfully, I have a habit of making backups of my saves every day before the new session, for this reason. Listen, if I die because of my fuck up, that's fair enough. At least I'm gonna have a funny way of ending the video. But I rather avoid ending my run thanks to a bug or a corrupted save, which can happen thanks to me playing on unstable branch. But yeah, anyway, here we are. Okay, we're back to day 132 again. Started off with killing zombies until my crowbar broke. After which I kinda felt like playing The Sims for a while, so I started working on my bedroom. It's far from finished, but hey, it's a progress. After crafting reinforced baseball bat, I spent nearly the entire day on killing zombies on my way to a police station. And because I was getting close to no XP in Long Blunt, thanks to being drowsy, I just read the book until the bedtime. After waking up and crafting 2 more reinforced bats, I went on a killing spree. And we hit level 5 in Long Blunt. Because I'm not gonna be looting piles of zombies one by one, thank you very much, I have added one more mod. I was getting a bit sleepy, so I went home and played The Sims again. Added new sofa to my library, and some shelves to my kitchen. Finally, on day 135, after killing few more zombies, and getting some rags for future tailoring grind, I was able to get inside the police station. Not even a single gun in the armory, only ammo. Evidence room had a crowbar and some short blunt weapons, but nothing interesting. They even had small library section, but of course no aiming or reloading books. Found a dartboard and pinball machine. At one point in the future I'll come back for them. This place was so big that after checking every room it became kinda late, so I'll be coming back tomorrow for loot. Honestly, there wasn't that much loot inside, so after moving everything into my van, I still had plenty of time left. Just look at this pile of corpses, it would be a shame to leave them like that, so I spent the rest of the day getting rags. Okay, new day, new point of interest, this time Army Surplus Store, top left corner of Louisville. I had really high hopes for this one, after all, it had Army in the name. But first, of course, I had to clear the parking outside. Thankfully, there are no big buildings on this side of the town, so it went quickly. Once inside, we are off to a good start, reloading 2 and aiming volume 2. When I was trying to get into the armory, I've discovered that I left my sledgehammer in my base, because of course I did. After returning and getting inside, luck was on my side, I found M16. Also a bunch of rifles, shotguns, and of course tons of ammo. I was taking everything that was not nailed into the ground. There were still ammo and weapons inside, but both my trailer and van were already full, so I will be coming back here. Entirety of next day was dedicated to sorting and splitting ammo into the crates, and getting all my weapons displayed on the table for fast access. Also, when I was at it, I decorated my base with US flag and signs I took from the store. Day 139, I came back to a police station. Corpses here had loads of pistols and I wanted to get some magazines from them. I've got my running skill to level 5 when I came back for rest of ammo and weapons from the gun store. That wasn't the most exciting day. However, next one, oh boy. Okay, so I couldn't find Aiming Book 1, but I had Volume 2 and 3, and I decided it would be a good idea to just level up those skills using revolvers I had. After arming myself with around 300 rounds of ammo, I went outside. I had this smart idea to start shooting only when I was a bit further away from my base. However, what I did not take into account was this huge office building next to me. As I was shooting them, I've just seen this line of zombies coming outside of the building. And it wasn't slowing down. After a while, the group wasn't getting smaller at all, it just kept growing. Oh shit, what have I done? Since I was still pretty close to my base, I took an executive decision to lure them away and lose them behind some buildings and just come from other side. There were still tons of them around, so I had to deal with them somehow, and I chose baseball bat. The main horde was still out there, but it became kinda late. After dealing with the last group I pulled, I headed back to my base to rearm and prepare myself for longer fight next day. Okay, this episode covered a lot of days, but I have to end it somewhere and this seems like a good place, without extending it by another 10 days, which I don't even have recorded yet. So even myself, I have no idea what's coming next. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave the comment, and if you'd like to help this channel grow, consider subscribing or dropping a like. Thanks for watching, see you next time.